After 60, distance in love rarely comes from a lack of affection. It comes from the words left unsaid, and the truths men wish women knew but never voice. A woman feels unseen, a man hides behind silence, and slowly closeness disappears, not from malice, but from misunderstanding. And it is in these hidden spaces, between what is felt and what is spoken, that the real story of love after 60 is written. Hi, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we'll talk about 4 things men truly wish women knew. Once you recognize these truths, you may find that love after 60 becomes less about frustration and more about the gentle companionship we've all been searching for. Before we go further, if you believe love after 60 should be built on honesty and mutual respect, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to Journey After 60. Together, we're building a space where wisdom and experience guide the way to deeper relationships. So, let's begin with the very first thing men wish women knew. And it starts with something that may surprise you: the deep value men place on being quietly appreciated, even for the small, everyday things they do. Number 1. Men still crave respect more than anything. After 60, a man doesn't need grand gestures or constant praise, but he does need respect. It's the quiet fuel that keeps his heart steady, his confidence alive, and his bond with you strong. Many women assume that by this age, men no longer care about respect because they've grown older, slower, or less ambitious. But the truth is, respect matters even more now, because beneath the wrinkles and the years, a man still wants to feel like the protector, the contributor, the person you can lean on. Too often, without realizing it, women chip away at that need. Small dismissive comments, rolling the eyes when he forgets something, or always correcting him in front of others. These moments, though unintentional, cut deep. To a man, it feels like being invisible in his own home. And when he feels invisible, he retreats into silence. Think about the men you've known in your life. How many of them grew quieter as they aged? How many stopped sharing their thoughts, not because they had nothing to say, but because they felt no one truly wanted to hear it? This is the hidden wish so many men carry after 60. Please respect me for who I still am, not for who I can no longer be. Respect doesn't mean pretending he's perfect. It's as simple as listening when he speaks, appreciating his efforts, even the small ones, and letting him know that his presence still carries weight in your world. When a man feels respected, he naturally responds with more tenderness, more care, and more willingness to open his heart. After 60, love isn't about outshining each other. It's about honoring what each person brings to the table. For a man, that honor is felt most deeply through respect. It tells him you are still valued, still needed, still worthy of being seen. And once he feels that, he will give you the very thing women quietly long for at this stage of life: loyalty, devotion, and a safe space to rest your own heart. That's the first unspoken truth men wish women knew. And once you recognize it, you'll start to see the walls of silence come down. But respect is only the beginning. The next thing reaches into an even deeper place, a man's quiet longing for emotional safety, something few women realize he needs just as much as they do. Number 2. Men quietly long for emotional safety. When people talk about men, they often picture toughness, pride, and independence. But after 60, the truth is very different. A man carries decades of battles inside him, mistakes he's made, losses he's endured, and the fear that time is running short. What he doesn't often admit is how deeply he longs for one thing: a safe place to rest his emotions. As the philosopher Seneca once wrote, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in imagination than in reality." For many men after 60, this rings painfully true. They may not show the fear, but they carry it. The fear of decline, of becoming a burden, of being misunderstood. And what they wish most is that the woman beside them can be the one place where fear doesn't need to be hidden. You see it in the way he goes quiet after a disagreement, or how he avoids sharing his worries about health, money, or family. It's not because he doesn't trust you, but because men are taught all their lives to stay strong and not burden others. After 60, that habit becomes even stronger. And yet, inside, he still wishes for a woman who will listen without judgment, who won't turn his vulnerability into a weapon, and who understands that even men need shelter sometimes. Think about the last time he opened up. Maybe he mentioned feeling tired, or worried about his memory, or uncertain about the future. Did you brush it off, rush to fix it, or remind him of what he should have done differently? Most men retreat when they feel corrected instead of comforted. What they wish women knew is that sometimes they don't want answers. They want understanding. They want to know they can set down their armor without being criticized or dismissed. Emotional safety doesn't mean agreeing with everything he says. It means creating a space where he feels heard, where his fears aren't ridiculed, and where his voice matters. It's the simple act of saying, "I hear you," or sitting with him in silence without forcing him to explain every feeling. That small grace is worth more to him than any solution. When a man feels emotionally safe, something remarkable happens. His walls come down. He begins to show affection more freely, to speak with honesty, and to reconnect in ways that years of silence may have hidden. Women often believe men don't crave intimacy in their later years, but the truth is, they do. They just need to feel safe enough to let it out. That's why the most meaningful gift a woman can offer a man after 60 is the gift of emotional safety. Speak to him with patience, not correction. Let silence have space instead of rushing to fill it. Honor the moments he chooses to open up and keep them safe between the two of you. And above all, show gratitude for his presence, even in the small, ordinary ways. These simple acts create the quiet shelter he longs for, and in return, they unlock the tenderness he has been carrying all along. If this reminder about giving men emotional safety resonates with you, tap save on this video, so the next time he goes quiet, you'll remember exactly how to respond with patience and care. If that next truth shifted your perspective, just wait until you hear the third. because it touches on one of the quiet fears men carry with them every single day. Number 3. Men fear losing relevance. One of the deepest and often least spoken truths about men after 60 is their fear of becoming irrelevant. It's not just about work or physical strength, it's about their place in the lives of the people they love. For decades, many men defined themselves by what they could provide, protect, or solve. But in later years, when careers end and children grow independent, they quietly wonder, am I still needed? Do I still matter here? This fear doesn't always come out as words. Sometimes it shows up as irritability, defensiveness, or withdrawal. A man who feels like his opinions no longer count, or that his presence is overlooked, often hides behind silence or even stubbornness. Deep down, though, his wish is simple, that the woman beside him will recognize he still carries wisdom, still has value to share, and still deserves to feel that his role is not finished. I'll share something personal with you. When I first stepped into retirement, I thought I was ready. No more deadlines, no more long hours at the office. But what I wasn't prepared for was the silence that followed. My kids were busy with their own lives, and even at home, I began to feel like my voice no longer carried weight. I remember once offering my wife advice on a household repair. She smiled, thanked me, and then called a professional anyway. She meant no harm, but in that moment I felt invisible. Instead of saying how much it hurt, I did what most men do. I pulled back. I grew quieter, more stubborn, less involved. For years, that pattern repeated, and it created a wall between us. It took me nearly 30 years to finally understand the real mistake. I had allowed myself to drift into irrelevance because I never spoke up, never insisted on my place, and never explained what I truly needed. That's why I'm here telling you this now. Don't make the same mistake I did. Don't spend 30 years in silence waiting for someone else to see your value. The lesson I learned, painfully, slowly, is that relevance doesn't come from shouting or proving yourself. It comes from staying engaged, from voicing your worth with calm honesty, and from cherishing the moments when your partner acknowledges your role. Have you ever noticed a man close to you retreating into silence because he felt overlooked? Write your experience in the comments. You may help another woman see her partner with new eyes. And once this need is understood, it sets the stage for the final truth, one that touches the heart of intimacy itself and reveals what men rarely admit, even in their most vulnerable moments. Number 4, men still desire intimacy, just in a different form. By the time men reach 60, many people assume their desire for intimacy fades away. The truth is far more complex. Yes, the body changes, energy shifts, and health may sometimes stand in the way. But what most men wish women knew is that intimacy never stops being important. It simply transforms. From my own research over the years, I've found that intimacy remains one of the most under-discussed yet crucial parts of love after 60.
For example, a study from the University of Michigan showed that nearly 62% of men over 65 still consider physical closeness a vital part of their relationship, while 58% reported that emotional intimacy, simple gestures like touch and affection, mattered even more than before. What's striking is that couples who maintained regular affection, even just holding hands or sharing daily kisses, reported being over 40% more satisfied in their relationship than those who let intimacy fade. For many men, intimacy after 60 isn't just about the physical act. It's about closeness, tenderness, and the quiet gestures that remind them they are still cherished as husbands, partners, and men. Holding hands during a walk, a warm touch on the shoulder, sitting close while watching a movie. These seemingly small acts speak volumes. They tell a man that he is not invisible, that he is still wanted. Too often, women mistake his silence on this subject as disinterest. In reality, he may be afraid to ask for what he longs for, worried he'll be rejected or seen as needy. Others may assume that health changes have removed the need altogether. But deep down, men still crave that bond, the reassurance that passion may evolve, but it doesn't have to vanish. This shift can actually bring a new kind of beauty to a relationship. Freed from the pressure of youthful performance, intimacy becomes gentler, more meaningful, rooted in emotional connection rather than physical perfection. A man may not say it outright, but when you reach for his hand first, when you initiate a kiss, or when you show him you still see him as a man, not just a companion, it can reignite a spark that feels timeless. Intimacy after 60 is no longer about urgency, but about depth. It's the difference between a flame that burns fast and one that glows steadily, warming the room through the night. Men wish women knew that this glow still matters, perhaps more than ever. When you honor this truth, you not only give him comfort, but you also strengthen the bond you share. Because in these years, intimacy isn't a luxury. It's the language of reassurance, the bridge that turns companionship into something more enduring. That is the final key, recognizing that men never outgrow their need for intimacy, only their way of expressing it. Once this is understood, love after 60 no longer feels like a quiet winding down. It becomes a new chapter of closeness, tenderness, and connection that can carry you both forward with joy. And now, let's step into the conclusion, where I'll gather these lessons and show you how they can transform the way love feels in this stage of life. After exploring these 4 truths, one lesson shines through. Love after 60 isn't built on guessing what men want. It's about understanding the quiet wishes they rarely voice. Respect, emotional safety, relevance, and intimacy. These are not luxuries, but the foundations that keep a man's heart open and connected in the later years of life. The deeper value lies here. When a woman recognizes these unspoken needs, she doesn't just create harmony in her relationship, she also strengthens her own sense of wisdom and grace. Love at this stage is no longer about proving worth. It's about honoring the humanity in both yourself and your partner. As Epictetus once reminded us, We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. And perhaps that is the greatest secret: listening deeply, seeing clearly, and meeting each other with respect. So, if these truths have resonated with you, take a moment to like this video, subscribe to Journey After 60, and save it as a gentle reminder of what truly matters. And don't forget to share your reflections in the comments. Your voice may be the wisdom another woman needs today. Thanks for watching my video, and see you next time.